it looks like it's official. Errol Spence Danny Garcia confirmed by Fox PPV. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Let's talk about it. Smash the like button. Fox PPV, they had a card. It was actually a very good card. Some entertaining fights. It wasn't big names, but I was watching the guy, Michael Coffey. He's a heavyweight, and I'm not going to play it for copyright reasons, but he actually looked good. He's definitely someone I'll check for. Jamal James looked good. Laser beam right hand. I thought he definitely beat Thomas Delorme, but Delorme gave it a go. And one thing I noticed about the broadcast is the Fox camera work is insane. It was like really crispy. I don't know if they're using an 8K camera or what, but very high level production. I told y'all about the Cuban boxer David Morrell, and he looked good. Played around a little bit. Some people are gonna have a problem with that, but he definitely dominated and almost doubled. Like, he was winking. This clip, you guys will be able to see he was winking at his opponent, and he's young, so I'm not worried about it. Now, Errol Spence Danny Garcia was the biggest fight that Fox officially announced. Now, I know some people say, oh, we already knew this. Ego. Don't click on the video then. I'm telling you guys, because it was always in the rumor stage, in sources and industry insiders stage, but Fox making it official is what we all needed to hear. So as you guys see, they have a graphic with Errol Spence. The unified champion is for the unified welterweight titles. No one in the division has more belts than Errol Spence. Man down. And it says Errol Spence Jr., Danny Garcia, November 21st, Fox pay-per-view. All times are Eastern times. They also announced a couple other fights. Sean Porter versus Sebastian Formella or Formella. Edislandi Lara. I'm not really sure. I think I seen the dude Greg Venditti once, and he got knocked out by Michael Soro. So I don't really know why Lada's fighting him. Ugas is fighting for a title against Abel Ramos. So those are the guys that are rated for the WBA interim. And then, of course, the biggest fight being Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. Listen, Errol Spence deserves a lot of credit. This man survived a wreck that some probably wouldn't have survived, being truthful. And he jumps in the deep end. No tune-up. And he's fighting a formidable guy. So this is a man, a dogged mentality. This is a guy who really feels he won't be denied. He's lucky to have his life and, not sustain any type of permanent anything wrong with his faculties and stuff like that. And he wants to resume his career where he left off. This fight was supposed to happen a week before the Super Bowl. Somehow, some way, despite all the turn of events with Errol Spence in the wreck, it's still happening. So to me, the person that, not taking anything away from Danny Garcia, but the person that deserves the most credit for that is the unified champion, Errol Spence. He's the one that with Danny, nothing happened to him, nothing major like a car accident. So he's the guy where it's all eyes on him. People were talking about his speech sounded different when he first came out. It definitely doesn't sound bad now. I think he was getting adjusted to the veneers or whatever he had going on. And like I said, you got to give Errol Spence his propers. Win, lose, or draw, this man is going after it, and he's defying the odds, and he's black excellence, to be honest. He's like, there's a lot of people in boxing, they not getting in car accidents, and they're still, they have some level of pool, and they're not fighting the best. This man survived a wreck, which he has every right based on his, not only the wreck, but his 2019 schedule. He could really just fight whoever he wants because he took an undefeated Mikey Garcia, battered him for 12 rounds, almost stopped him in the 9th, I think it was. I was at that fight, great experience. And then he beat Sean Porter, and it was very close. And then he got the knockdown, man down. That kind of edged it for him. So he could take a tune-up just off the strength of his last performance, in the last two performances. But he's not doing that. He's fighting Danny Garcia. And Sean Porter was on the Fox telecast. Sean Porter said, I got to see. I don't know. He said, I need to see Errol for a couple rounds. And he's been in there with both. Sean Porter said, I don't know how Errol's going to be. I need a couple rounds to assess it. So that means he knows that Danny Garcia is a problem and definitely a threat level, because accident or not, if he thought that Errol would just blow through him. He basically said on the telecast, Sean Porter basically said that accident or not, Danny Garcia is a formidable opponent. So shout out to Fox, shout out to PBC, shout out to Al Heyman, shout out to Errol Spence, shout out to Danny Garcia, and shout out to Angel. You talk about Danny, you talk about Philly for getting it done, and Derek James, everybody, man. This is a great fight. And I see the haters, you know, typical old media fashion. Y'all only get a couple bars, but they hating and saying, oh, this is the only good fight. First of all, Fox hasn't even announced their whole schedule. That's for starters. Andy Ruiz, Caleb Plant, we still don't know who they're fighting or when they're fighting. So likely that'll be on the Fox schedule. But the haters can't resist, and they can't resist hating. So they're just talking bad and saying, oh, why are these fights? But they didn't say nothing when Top Rank came out with their summer schedule, which didn't have any big fights. They didn't say nothing to Eddie Hearn's backyard fights that no one's tripping off of, like Ted Cheeseman and Fight Camp and all this stuff, or Frank Warren putting Joe Joyce in there with whatever, that Viking looking dude that he fought. But once again, PBC is held to the maximum standard, especially having a black advisor, you know, just being in that position in America. He just held to a different standard. PBC has always been held to a different standard. When they first came out, people said it won't work. The Waddell and Reed investors want their money back, and they're buying time slot. It's always been a problem. Now that they seem to be on top, and Showtime and Fox definitely got the illest schedule so far, thus far. I'm the biggest boss that you've seen thus far. Huh? Still hating. You know? It's just like some people you can't please. Same thing with Errol Spence. Errol Spence, people, when he picked Mikey Garcia and that fight happened, they blame Errol. Oh, why you fighting a smaller guy? Right? Despite the fact that Mikey Garcia, against his own father and his own brother and trainer's wishes, he kept calling out Errol Spence. Nobody requested that of Errol Spence until Mikey opened his mouth and said, I want this guy. I'm serious. And he stuck to his guns, you know, he stuck to his laurels, and he came up short because of it. There's no way you can blame that on Errol Spence, but let me connect the dots for you. Errol Spence fought somebody who was smaller, who insisted on fighting him, and he just obliged him, battered him, and people said, oh, why are you fighting someone? Now, Danny, he's not a small welterweight by any stretch. He's not a small welterweight. And I was actually surprised when he was next to Errol Spence, how big Danny Garcia looked. So Danny Garcia has power. He's an experienced guy. He has probably more big level fights than Errol Spence, truth be told, because his rise was before Errol Spence. We start knowing about Danny Garcia's name. So it's not a small guy. Rest in peace to brother Nasim Richardson. So we started hearing about Danny Garcia. He's an experienced guy. He's a heavy-handed guy. He's calculated, very good with timing. He's made money, so it's not like a rushed camp or anything. This is just a great fight all around. And then now he's fighting another Garcia. You know, Mikey, they said he was too small, and now people are angry saying, oh, you're tripping. Why are you not taking the tune-up? You know, it's like you can't please old media and boxing fans like that. When Errol Spence fights someone who's taunting him and calling him out, like Mikey Garcia, who's still a great fighter and undefeated, they say, oh, you picking on small guys. Now he's fighting another Garcia who's definitely an adequate size, power punching welterweight after an accident. They say, oh, you tripping. You should have took a tune up. So it's like, what do boxing fans want? They when Errol Spence fought the smaller Garcia, who was undefeated and again, a good fighter, they had a problem with it. Now he's fighting a bigger Garcia and a big puncher. They have a problem with him testing himself and fighting somebody coming off of that wreck. Listen, if he wants to fight, win, lose, or draw, that's a dope ass shirt. Shout out to Danny. Danny got swag. Pause. But that looked like some Tupac shit. You know, 95, 96 Death Row. Bow down to something greater than yourself, Trig. Thug life, that's my comment. Now he's testing himself with Danny Garcia right off rip, off the accident. What's going on here? That looked funny. And see, this is Danny in March. He's already in shape too. Now they saying you should have took a tune-up. So it's like, what do you want? You want him to not test himself, or when he does test himself, you say he ain't testing himself. Then he fighting another Garcia, you say it's too much of a test. You know, boxer fans are weird. You know, really weird. Sean Porter did say that, you know, Danny Garcia is formidable. So he's been in there with both. I'm going to take his word for it because he gave both guys a tough fight, and he always comes to fight, and he's vouching for it. So big fight. It's unfortunate that we're in the global situation that we are, because this and Gervonta Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, I think they're absolute crowd fights. You know, they would be better. Same thing with the Charlo pay-per-view. All those pay-per-views from PBC are crowd worthy, and I think they would have been great and done great. But shout out to Showtime and Fox and PBC for getting them done regardless, because there's a lot of promotions like Bob Arum. He literally just told you, I'm not paying Teofimo more because he thinks he's worth more. We got to conserve, and we're in a pandemic. But you got PBC, who clearly these fights, even though they're pay-per-view, they would be crowd-friendly fights. They could just wait, say, hey, Danny, take another tune-up. Errol, take a tune-up. You just came off an accident anyway. We going to wait on this until crowds come back. And, you know, they don't know what's going to happen when the fights are scheduled, November, December, October, and all that, right? And they still chancing that there's a chance crowds can't come back in any capacity by then, and they're willing to pull the trigger. So shout out to PBC really for getting it done. I tell you on my channel all the time, content is king. Let me know what you guys think. Danny Garcia, always followed his career, love what he's done. Same thing with Errol Spence. It's official now. I'm going to drop a lot of content on this fight because this fight really excites me. Let me know what you guys think of my video, how I did. If you're new, consider subscribing. I drop daily content. This is a fight I'm going to be covering extensively and talking about and slicing up on my channel because I'm really happy for it. Shout out to Fox PPV getting this done. Thank you, Al Heyman. We working. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, hi, I'm Mike Tyson, come and watch my fight. Floyd Mayweather, easy work, I'm rich. And Manny Pacquiao, yes, it's up to my promoter, just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.